Stuffed zucchini boats are an easy, healthy, high-protein, fiber-filled, low-carbohydrate dinner idea that is perfect for meal prep and a lovely way to enjoy some seasonal zucchini, although you could definitely enjoy this recipe all year round. I'm stuffing my zucchini boats with a combination of onions, peppers, tomatoes, and ground turkey. But you could easily swap that ground turkey for any type of ground meat you prefer or have on hand, or you could go 100% plant-based and sub the turkey for some lentils, chickpeas, mushrooms, quinoa, or even some crumbled tofu. And if you like a taco-style stuffed zucchini boat, I've got a recipe for that as well that I will link for you down in the description box below. So the first thing I do is I bring a large pot of water to a boil over on my stovetop, and then I'm going to prepare the zucchini. You're going to want to use 4 medium to large size zucchinis like I have here, and start by trimming off the top and the bottom. You just want to trim off the ends and then slice it in half lengthwise. So you want to try to get straight down the center. Then you're just going to use a spoon and scoop out the center of the zucchini. This is pretty much where the zucchini seeds are, and you'll see once you get underneath them, you're going to be left with about a 1/4 inch border on all sides of the zucchini like I have here, and this is going to be our zucchini boat. So then you're just going to repeat that with the rest of the zucchini, and when you're finished, you should have 8 halves, so 8 zucchini boats ready to go. Now, for those of you who've been with me for a long time, you may recognize this recipe because it is a clean and delicious classic. I created this recipe over 10 years ago, but I had to pull it out of the archives because I just love making it this time of the year. Once all the zucchini is prepped, I take the zucchini center that we scooped out, the seeds and that little bit of extra flesh, put it in the center of a clean dish towel, and then you just want to squeeze out any excess water. We're going to use some of this. You want to take a cup of it, and we're going to give it a rough chop. We're going to use this as part of the filling for the zucchini. It's actually great because not only is it going to add more volume, but it's also going to add a good amount of fiber. And then anything that's left over, I just put it in an airtight container and I leave it in the fridge. And then what I'll do is I'll either add it to a smoothie or I'll saute it and then cook it up with some scrambled eggs. So you don't have to throw it away. The next thing I like to do is a quick parboil for the zucchini. So I'm just going to drop them into the boiling water, literally pop them in 1 minute max, and then I pull them right out. Now I like to do this because this way after they bake, they're really soft and tender, which is the way our family enjoys them. If you want a more al dente zucchini, if you want it to have more of a bite, you could skip this step. It's really 100% personal preference. Now for the filling, I'm going to heat a large non-stick saute pan over a medium heat. I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of olive oil, and then I'm adding in my ground turkey, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then you just want to break this up until you have crumbles. By the way, I'm not sure if you've discovered this little gadget yet. It's literally called a meat chopper, but it is a game changer if you're ever working with ground meat, and you can get it for under 10 bucks on Amazon. So I'll link it for you down in the description box below. Now, I am using a lean ground turkey here. It's very high in protein by being very low in fat, but it can be a little bit on the drier side. So if preferred, you could use a dark meat turkey, or you could sub in, like I said earlier, any type of ground meat you prefer, or go plant-based and get creative with the options there. But if you are going plant-based, I would saute the vegetables first and then add that plant-based protein with those cooked vegetables. Okay, once the turkey is opaque, right, so there's no more pink, it's essentially cooked all the way through, I'm gonna push it to one side of the pan, and then I'm gonna add just another teaspoon of olive oil and then my veggies. So we've got some chopped up garlic, 1 small onion or half of a large onion. Ultimately, you want 1 cup of chopped up onions here. And then I have a chopped up green bell pepper and the reserved zucchini that we saved as well. We'll season that with a little bit of salt, some black pepper, and then I'm adding in a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. FYI, I love seasoning mixes like an Italian seasoning, specifically if you are new to the kitchen or just getting started, because instead of having to go out and buy 4 or 5 different spices, you can just buy one and it's a blend of multiple spices. So you get a lot of flavor without needing to have 5 or 6 jars of spices in your kitchen. And then finally, I'm gonna add in 1.5 cups of strained tomatoes. This could also be crushed tomatoes, or if you had tomato sauce, you could do that as well, maybe with just a splash of water to loosen it up a bit, okay? So we'll get that in there, mix everything together, get it really well incorporated, bring it to like a medium-low heat. You want it to be at a simmer. pop on a lid and let this go for 10 to 15 minutes. Now about halfway through, I like to just lift up the lid, check on everything. If it looked dry, you could add a little bit more of those tomatoes, but mine is exactly where I want it. You can see that it's loose and it has a nice little simmer to it, but it's not too liquidy. Okay, so this looks perfect. I'm going to shut the heat off and just let it rest for about 5 minutes or so. You just want it to be cool enough to handle. Then in the meantime, you just want to have your zucchini boats lined up in a baking dish, and you might need 2. So I have a 16 by 10 baking dish here, and 6 fit in here perfectly, but then I just pop the extra 2 in another baking dish because that's what I have and that's what works. So as always, just use whatever you have and make it happen. Okay, once our filling is cool enough to work with, you're just gonna use a spoon, and you need about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup for each zucchini boat. So you're just gonna layer it in. You wanna come just slightly above the edges, but you don't wanna overfill, right? You want it to stay in there when it's cooking. And you're just gonna repeat this till you've got all of your zucchini boats stuffed. Should you have any extra filling at the end, just see who's got a little extra room and squeeze it in, because this filling should be perfect for 8 zucchini boats. I've made it several times and it always fits perfectly. Then last but not least, I'm just gonna sprinkle 1 to 2 tablespoons of shredded mozzarella cheese right over the top of each zucchini boat. This is a very simple recipe. It does not use a lot of ingredients, but it is really delicious. I love recipes like this. Okay, once it's ready to roll, you're gonna cover the whole dish with some foil, and then you've got 2 options. You could prepare this as a make-ahead meal. So you can do everything up to here and then pop it in the fridge, leave it in there for up to 24 hours, and then when you're ready to make the meal, pull it out, bring it to room temperature, and then you're gonna pop it into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes with the foil on. If it's coming straight out of the fridge, it is important that you let it come to room temperature first, or you're just gonna need to add a little bit of cooking time. Both options work, okay? After 30 minutes, you are going to see, you're gonna take that foil off, the cheese is gonna be nice and melted, the zucchini is gonna be tender, but still have a little bit of a bite to it, and it's just so simple and so flavorful. This one is really, it's perfect for a family meal, and it's also perfect for meal prep. You can make a whole tray and then enjoy them throughout the week. So simple, so delicious, and so you absolutely have to try. Now, if you enjoy easy, healthy recipes just like this, then you are definitely going to want to check out the Clean and Delicious Cookbook. This book is packed with over 100 easy, healthy, whole food recipes, just like I share here on the channel, and I will be sure to link it for you down in the description box below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Dani Spies, and I'll see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers! Just any excuse to take another bite. Delight.